with my students, a little bit less so with my older professionals, but definitely very, very, very common with my students that are in sort of late high school, early university, and again, it sort of has a resurgence in new grads that I find, which is the case with Grace. So measuring progress and how that influences how good you're going to become. So here's the thing, right? Okay, let's just start off with some facts. Lay down some facts. The first thing is that I want you to just anchor yourself as a point of reference to your ultimate goal right now. Okay, well, or the nearest to an ultimate goal that you can kind of like put yourself to. And I'm not talking about like my ultimate goal is to have like a happy, fulfilling life. I mean actual, like a more specific kind of concrete goal. Like you want to be a really good, like, I don't know, cardiologist, or you want to just be really good at your studies, or you know, just something that you feel is tangible and specific, that you feel is challenging, that's the goal that you're kind of working towards. All this hustle is dedicated towards you trying to achieve that goal. Okay, think about that, keep that in your mind. Now, the next thing that I want to think about is what it would take to actually get there. What are the steps along the way that have to be reached? So break it down into yearly steps, and then break that down into monthly. And then think about at the end of every month, how would you know whether you are closer to that goal or not? How would you know whether you're closer to that goal or not? And you might have a few goals. You might say, I want to be a really amazing, you know, whatever, like, I want to be a super awesome, like, museum curator one day. But I also want to have a lifestyle where I'm always prioritizing friends and family over work. Okay, that might be your, like, two really important goals. So how would you know at the end of every month that you are getting to that point? The answer is it'll be very difficult to, actually. It's really difficult to know exactly what the requirements are on just small scale to reach that goal. And because it's difficult to track yourself that way, we end up tracking ourselves with bigger goals. So, okay, before becoming a museum curator, I need to be I don't even know what the step before that is, to be honest. I picked a bad example, but let's say, like, you need to work at the museum or something like that, okay? So you need to get this whatever lucrative job at a lucrative, exclusive museum first. And that's the first step that you need to reach, okay? And then before that, it's a little bit gray what you need to achieve. So, okay, so you don't know on a monthly basis, but, you know, sort of 5 years from now, you need to be in a certain position, okay? And that's what you're going to measure yourself based on. Why is that dangerous? Why does that cause problems? Because the decisions that you make in terms of how you're going to improve the behaviors that might be holding you back, the behaviors that might be doing well for you, these will be blind to you in the you know, short term. You wouldn't know whether you're moving towards your goal or not because you don't actually know what's necessary to get there. You'd compare yourself to a version of yourself that's far removed from where you are now, which means that the way you compare yourself is going to be very different. So let's say, for example, let's take studying, you know, we've all been students, or you are students as you're listening to this now. Let's say that you want to do a really competitive degree, and in order to get that competitive degree, you need to get A+. You need to be, let's say, top 1% of the academic cohort to get there. Okay, top 1%. That sounds pretty tricky, okay? Sounds pretty tough. So you'd focus on getting to that top 1%. How do you actually get there? How do you actually get to the top 1%? What's the thing that makes a difference between someone and the top 1%? For the top 1% person, what do they actually look like? And what would you need to do on a monthly basis to get there? See, if you didn't know that, you might just have this vague idea of top 1% and realize that takes hard work. I know that much. So you've got something to focus on, and then you just drive in on that, and you work hard, and you work hard, and you sacrifice everything, you do all the things, you're a good boy, you're working very hard. And then at the end of all of that, what's the result? Well, you either did it or you didn't. Okay, you either succeeded or you failed. So it's pretty high risk there. What if the thing that you were missing was some other component that wasn't hard work, which, you know, there probably is another component other than just hard work. You will have sacrificed all of that and missed that entire opportunity. You don't get a redo. You can't control Z, you know, like 100 times to get all the way back to a year ago where you actually had the ability to make a difference. You would simply rely on a small amount of information, a tiny keyhole insight into where you want to get to. And based on that keyhole image, without exploring further, you you would commit yourself down a certain road, and then maybe later you'll look back and realize, man, I was pretty dumb. I should have really done things very differently. So it's very, very difficult to know all the steps required to get you to where you need to go from a purely objective outcomes point of view. Which is why there's actually no point measuring things this way. Which is why, to begin with, you should actually think about the type of person that would be able to achieve this easily. What is the type of person that would be able to get that lucrative job? What's the type of person that would be able to get that exclusive internship? What's the type of person that gets offered this type of grad position? What's the type of person that succeeds in a certain way and gets a certain grade? What type of person is that? Characterize that person for you. Who would find it easy to do that? Let's use studying as an example again. What's the type of person that would find it easy to get really consistently good grades? Probably someone that's got good balance, they get good sleep, they're really efficient, they are probably pretty social, they know how to use their time effectively, work hard, play hard sort of thing. Okay, so these are the attributes, and that's really across the board for anyone that's trying to be successful at anything. You're going to work and maybe you're thinking, man, how do I become someone that's better at my job? Well, what type of person is that? What type of person does that look like? And the efforts that you're doing, is that the type of effort that that person would be doing? It might not be. And you might be thinking, okay, well, this is just temporary. This is just now. This is just right now. Okay, well, so then when is the change going to happen? Like, what's the reason why it can't be right now? Like, in fact, if it's difficult for you to do that right now, isn't that the most important time to actually do it? Because that's the type of challenge that this type of person will deal with in a certain way. Do you only want to be your ideal type of person in the easiest possible situation, and then when things are tough, you just revert back? That type of person is probably not going to last very long, right? You want to be the ideal type of person in the challenging situations, right? Otherwise, it's not really who you are. So, think about that person, and then work your way back towards what are the skills, and then how would you develop those skills. And then you can, in that way, if you're thinking about the skills and the type of person that you'd need to become, you can actually start creating those metrics a little bit more effectively. So sure, maybe you need to be someone that's a lot more balanced. Okay, you understand that this is a person who maintains mental optimum and efficiency. They prioritize that rather than just funneling in hard work endlessly. So what type of person is that going to be compared to where you are 1 month from now? What would you have achieved in order to do that? And then you can create some metrics to measure yourself by. Right, and now this is safe. You can do that. You can think, okay, I need to be more balanced. How do I do that? Well, like, my sleep is terrible, for starters. But the reason my sleep is terrible is because I'm always staying up late because I never finish my work. And the reason that I'm not finishing my work is because I'm always so overworked at work, and I'm never leaving on time, and I'm just dead tired by the time I get home. Okay, well, the first step then is, okay, can I reduce the amount of work that I do somehow? Can I reprioritize my time, use it slightly differently so I free up a little bit more time? Can I, get more stuff finished at work?